So we left the last one with talking about point of view and third person limited, and how we can see what Miss Asrani is thinking. We know what she is feeling. We know what Mr. Asrani is doing through her eyes. We know what the kids are doing through her eyes. We know what the neighbor is doing through her eyes. But it's all through her eyes. But because we can see into her brain, it's third person limited. Okay? And we talked last time about how she was angry, and there was pride and frustration, and she was desperate, and she was envious. Okay? So, the diction is going to get us the anger, because we have ire, and we have her squatting, and we have the consequences. All of those are word choice. Okay? Here, how she's bossy. The die was not behaving today. She had to make it behave. We have all the lonely is indicated pretty much by the imagery, or how and lonely, and how she feels ugly, and she feels lonely and neglected because she feels ugly. How her body is spilling over, how the infestation, that's also diction, the crawling infestation, and I'm going to use that in my paragraph. Falling around like a curtain, falling around, enveloping her insides in its fold. That's imagery. That's how her anger does her. So the imagery is going to show that the gray hair is the enemy, and that she's attacking it with force, almost violent. Okay? But those are all kind of surface. You have to get to her pride and how she used to feel pretty. If you recognize this before, this repetition, that's going to help, because this is like a little flashback into her before. Okay? So I'm going to throw this into kind of what we've been doing with our organization, because I want to see how you tie this into what we've been doing for expository. So we have our little introduction, what's going on in the story, and then the thesis statement. Mine talks about how she is, what does mine talk about? Frustrated and prideful. So we've got pride and frustration. Okay, so my first one is the pride and how her gray hair makes her feel older. And I'm going to talk about the crawling infestation. That's going to be my example. Okay. Infestation. And then I would probably talk about her body image. And the thickening, I like that one, or the falling around, no, not thickened before her body began to spill around her. I like that imagery. So I'm going to use those two details. This is diction, and this is imagery. Okay, and then my C statement bringing me back to the pride, because I'm only talking about pride in my topic. Oops, sorry. In my topic, which is about pride, is going to come back to how women in general, but especially Mrs. Ronnie, as Ronnie is trying to keep up her looks not only because she's feeling neglected by her husband, but because, like most women, she has a sense of inner pride and wants to look and feel good for herself. Planning, people. Planning. Thesis, pride, frustration. My first topic is going to be about the gray making her old, crawling infestation, diction. Then my second would be about body image and how her body is spilling around her every time she sat down, and how that makes her feel fat and ugly, and how she's envious of the lady next door, and the repetition before, that could go on for days. And then the last sentence is Mrs. Ronnie is trying to keep up her looks, not only because she's feeling neglected by her husband, but because, like most women, she has a sense of inner pride and wants to feel and look good for herself, not just her husband. Okay, so here's my first nugget, and I've already written it out for you for no other reason than time. Okay, so we're going to do just like we always do: pink, yellow, pink, green, blue. Pink, yellow, pink, green, blue. She is frustrated with getting old, prideful and frustrated with getting older. Mrs. Ronnie is a very proud woman who is desperately trying to hold on to her youth. This once dignified lady struggles with how her graying hair and the squiggles of white that had sprouted all over her head like some crawling infestation. The diction, crawling infestation, implies that the hair is similar to a contamination of insects. This is like life. She is completely disgusted, just like anybody in the real world would be, by this and wants it gone. The idea that the hairs are corrupting the rest of her head and destroying the once luxurious locks is detestable and revolting. More L2s. Because the story is written in the third person limited point of view, the reader understands that Mrs. Ronnie believes that if she can control the graying of her hair, she will again be beautiful and desirable to her husband. Now I added the point of view in there just so you could see how to address point of view. Pink, yellow, pink. This is pink. Contamination, disgusted, wants it gone, corrupting, destroying, luxurious. Pink, yellow, pink, and then the second pink is incorporated into the blue sometimes. Pink, yellow, pink, green, blue. There it is, all in one big paragraph. Okay, I hope this helps. You can, depending on what you need for your grade, rewrite one paragraph, which equals a topic sentence, 2 nuggets, and a conclusion. That's A and B. For up to 20 points. You can rewrite the essay for up to an A, 98, which is the highest grade you could get. Up to an A. Due Tuesday, March 6th. No exceptions.